only Friday, man. It's all good, baby. And the sun's come out for the weekend. It's so freaking hot. Oh my God. It's so hot. It's like 37 degrees in here right now. It's ridiculous. But it's all good, though, because it means that work's finished and we're going to get in the weekend and the girls are going to have the bikini tops out. Thumbs up, boys. Of course I'm not looking. Know what I mean? And then all the lads are going to be out, baby shorts on, right? Excuse to wear those Magnum PI shorts. You know what I'm talking about. Growing that mustache. Looking swag, because the sun's out. Excuse, all we need. Let's get some flesh on the go. I know I'll just be rocking a thong all day. It's going to be awesome. We are going to have a giggle. Story today. Ladies and gents, it's a story today. That is just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But it's fun. And it's all good. What is Drama Friday? You should know by now. It's season 2. But for those of you who don't know, hello. Welcome. Drama Fridays, people are nuts. People are absolutely fucking crazy on the internet, as you well know. If not, 4chan wouldn't exist. But it does. And now we have people invading our MMO world with anonymity, hidden behind a Tauren or a gnome or whatever it might be, with ridiculous mustaches, men hidden behind people with pink hair. It's all gone crazy, and people tend to behave like complete idiots. And we enjoy that, and we look back at it. We take lessons. We take lessons from this, that people behave like this in our game, and not everybody is nice and dandy and friendly and all that kind of good stuff. So it's all going to be good. So what I'm going to do is, there's no names in this first one, so those of you who are not listening can start saying me. And our first story is a very short story. Just to warm us up. Yeah, just to get us in the mood. And it's a situation that, some of us I've probably been in the past, although not me. But sure, I'm sure this can happen to some of you. But it's one of those things that can happen. Alright. It's called the Dungeon Finder Fuck Up. I have one issue with my Twitch stream, and that is because of my excessive sarcasm. And the nature of our content is we have bred the most ridiculously sarcastic Twitch chat in the history of Twitch. You might think Twitch chat is bad in others, but now they know and they're sarcastic with it. Heroes. I only blame myself and Ghosty. Mostly Ghosty, but still, it's the way we go. The Dungeon Finder Fuck Up. Being a healer, I have gotten used to false accusations of blaming me for wipes over the years. Right? Yeah? Blame the healer. At first, most of the times, I got really emotional about it. Got upset. Didn't like it. People blaming me why they died while they're studying fire. It really upset me that I was the one that would instantly be blamed. All my fellow healers. I took emotional offense of these accusations and channeled them into really learning all the tricks there were to know for certain when the accuser was full of shit. So I could call them out as to why they died. Grimrail Depot. Warlords of Draenor. Heroic mode. Yeah, heroic mode. How many of you here have typed to the tank? You have to aim it at the goblin. See that big arrow? See that big giant arrow? Aim it at the goblin. Alright? Please. Please do me a favour. Just aim it at the goblin. Oh, I didn't see you. Sorry. In this group, everyone was about the appropriate item level for the Grimrail Depot. I may have been a little bit of a daze. Which one of the factors there was my history of being in the server top raiding guild in Vanilla and TBC, clinging to the past. I had a 4-year break from World of Warcraft after getting this life everyone was talking about. Which, honestly, it was overrated. The first pack, I noticed that even though I was on top of my game, heals were flying left and right, people's health bars were still going down. Some member died here and there. In chat, they were complaining about me and my healing. Not this bullshit again, I thought. I told them to maybe pull less mobs. Why don't you stay away from AoE? Why don't you stop standing in shit, you fucking noobs? I never even noticed if the tank had actually pulled 2 groups. I just assumed, because I couldn't heal them, that they'd done something wrong. Before the first boss, though, every single member of the group was in my face. One of them asked, "Are you feeling okay, healer?" Coincidentally, though, I didn't feel like they were listening to me. And I thought to myself that I've had enough of this group, LFD and randoms, and said, "Fuck you," and left the group. I hearthstoned to my garrison, started doing my garrison dailies, and noticed that I had red sickness. That's never... What? How do you not know you have red sickness? How is that even possible? What science? What sorcery do you not realize you have res sickness? Are you joking, dude? But then you made the ultimate flaw. They knew you had res sickness. They asked you if you were feeling well. They saw it. They knew. Then you fucked up even more. In my opinion, you goofed it even more. I decided to whisper them because I felt like an asshole. No. You do not bow down to the members of LFD. You do not grovel and bend the knee to the members of LFD. Don't do it. "Hey," I said, "I am the priest that just left the group. I'm sorry for my behavior. It turns out that I had resurrection sickness." I got a reply. "Are you the priest that said fuck you?" "Yes," I said. So when they gave me the ultimate LFD stamp of failure, lol. And I never spoke to them again. That's all it takes. You've lost. You've lost everything, and your name will be forever. When you whispered them again, they remember you. No one here, no one in this chat, and no one watching this at home can tell me the name of any random member of the group they were last in. Not a single one. Even if you were in fucking LFR with 24 other people, you can't tell me the single goddamn name of anybody in that dungeon. Not one. But if they were to whisper you, if they were to single themselves out, if they were to make a point, you're forever stuck in their memory. And now you're part of the circle of fail. Now you're in. Now let's have a bit of a giggle. I need some names. I need a GM. Oh, shit. A rep paladin. We need a female holy priest. Success. We need a deeps warrior. Deeps warrior. A female resto druid. A guardian druid. And a male prop pally. Right, okay. So the first one was a male rep paladin. Who's Team Pink? Team Pink. Dreed. Team Pink. Female holy priest. Anybody rocking the white today? White Knights. White Knights. Anybody? 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 Well, it's a lady name, so I'm going to go with Thumposaurus Rex. Yeah? Good lady name. Thumposaurus Rex. We need a male Deeps warrior. Who's rocking the brown? Who's in the brown? Rhinehelm. Ooh, good name. Rhinehelm. We need a female resto druid. Team Orange. McFist Thunder. Oh, all the ladies have the best names today. McFist Thunder and Thumposaurus Rex. Doing well. Guardian druid. Team Orange. Sangster. And a male prop pally. Team Pink. Who's Team Pink? 3, 2, 1, and we'll go with Redman. Redman will do. No Team Pinks in the chat at the moment. Only Dreed rocking the Team Pink. Slackers. 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 Right. My incredible journey, written from the perspective of a lovely lady who is playing a female Blood DK tank. Blood Elf. Yeah, you know it. I know it. Okay. It doesn't even need to be said. Doesn't even need to be said. Female Blood DK. Definitely a Blood Elf. Goes without saying. Definitely a Blood Elf. Unless... Whoa! What do the girls play if they're on Alliance and they're a DK tank? Female human? What's the standard? I don't know. Female Night Elf? Maybe. Maybe. My incredible journey. Are you ready? I'm a female Blood Elf DK. So, Preacher, I've been binge watching some old drama stories, and some of them sparked up some memories of old. I have quite a few stories from 10 years of WoW, and the ones after the release of WoD are by far the best. I started WoW playing a priest in vanilla. Respect. I joined a progressive guild in Bloodhoof, ranked 5th or so on the server. I stayed with the guild, forged a wonderful bond, and it was severed during the Sunwell. The bizarre part of this was that the raid didn't kill the guild, as the Sunwell often did. The officers, in fact, just swapped MMOs. What was the MMO during Sunwell? Conan, maybe? About this time, I became pregnant with my first kitty, was born shortly after the release of Wrath of the Lich King. I leveled during the wee hours of night while I was feeding. I like the idea that you got this kid who's attached to your titty and he's trying to play. You're like, how do you even do that? You can't do that. You're lying. You lie. You lie. I've seen my wife breastfeed. You can't play WoW while doing that. That's just lies. And I tried to find another guild that I was satisfied with. I rolled a brand new DK after leveling my priest, shaman, and mage. It was here that I decided I would become a tank. I had found my calling. Who can tank with a baby? Well, who can tank with a baby, lol? I ended up going super casual. You are literally the 5-man tank hero. The 5-man tank hero. During Kata, my second son was born. Thus, I continued to not play WoW. I kept in contact with a few of the members of my old guild. Added them to Battle Swag once it was released. I came back from Mr. Pandaria. I got my DK on the Horde side. Definitely a Blood Elf. I learned to tank during the Throne of Thunder. I even pugged normal, now heroic, Siege of Orgrimmar and received my ahead of the curve. The guild on my Horde server was an all-female guild. No. Nope. It needs a mix. You can't have one or the other. An all-boys guild, I don't want to be in that. Well, I can't be. But I still don't want to be in an all-girls guild. Nah. 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 Except one male officer. What a bloke. What a bloke. What a bloke. All girls except for one male. The leader. Alpha. The raid leader was also dating said officer. Yeah. Well, the guild was doing well. They were clearing Siege of Orgrimmar. When the announcement for WOD came, the RL and her boyfriend decided to form a guild of all the good raiders. We're going to make a new guild. I'm going to make a new guild. And you're not in it. Alright. So, that's the thing. They approached me to tank, wanting to clear Mythic in WOD. This hurt my GM badly, and she ended up transferring the guild to another server. So I logged in one day to no guild. I wasn't about to join the mutiny. I decided to go back to Alliance. I figured since one of the higher up guilds in the US was on the server, Vodka, there would be two kinds of guilds. Wannabe guilds and good guilds. Telling the difference between these kind of guilds can be easy or hard. It was here I discovered you, Mr. Preach. I discovered your channel on YouTube and then the Drama Times. I watched some of your vids on progression raiding and I learned quite a few things that I never really thought about. I started using your videos as a basis for questions I'd ask of the recruiters. After all the planning, all the questions, all the research, I chose my guild. I filled out the application, explaining my class to a crispy cucumber. I received loads of praise from the officers and the GM himself. And now, my friends, join me as we go on the crazy whirlwind that happened in Warlords of Draenor. Let's go deep. Side note to the story. I joined the guild and stayed even with a few red lights going off in my head. No! I can't stress this enough. If you join a guild and something instantly makes you go, whoa, 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 leave! Get out of there! Don't allow that because the next thing will be so much worse than that. Seriously, if that's the opening gambit, get the fuck out of there. My first raid with the guild. I had never tanked Heroic Blackrock Foundry. I came from a crappy guild that couldn't do Bracken Spawn Normal. Tough stuff, that Bracken Spawn Normal. I replaced a female gnome monk tank. The first raid, I learned 8 out of 10 boss fights for Blackrock Foundry. I tanked well, nailed my roles in each fight. Dreed whispered me, and he said the officers were pleased with my performance. After the raid, though, Thumposaurus Rex and McFist Thunder befriended me, the two ladies of the guild. We all hit it off and started to become good friends. Over the course of the next week, I did well enough tanking that they approved my trial and promoted me to member within 1 week. I was undergeared, and they basically gave me loot that was going to be D'd anyways. The previous tank was already geared though, as well as Redman, their main tank. Redman though took me under his wing, taught me a lot about positioning and thinking about DPS. I spent a good deal of time with him in the empty instance, in the downed boss rooms, going over strats, cleaning them up, thinking of improvements. We banged our heads together, tweaked some things, and even worked out a tanking aspect and strategy for the upcoming Blackhand fight the next week. We explained to the healers how we are changing the strategy slightly. They were happy with the changes, adjusted their cooldowns accordingly. As you can see, I hadn't done anything that should shine a negative light on myself. Okay. So I imagine the next part of the story is going to go very well indeed. The GM Dreed even whispered me. He said he wanted to make me an officer. Nope. 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 Hey, you've been here a week. Would you like to be an officer? The way you tanked our farm raid was incredible. I think you should be an officer. He then explained to me, though, that the guild ranking system was rather complex. As it should be, ladies and gents. Your guild ranking system should be very complex. It was based on a combination of performance and time spent in the guild. He said though, that he would work me up the ladder over the next couple of months. Yeah? Dreed's going to work you up the ladder. Wow. I told him that I would indeed become an officer if asked. And all was hunky-dory. It was fine. I routinely asked for feedback on my tanking performance from both Redman and the raid leader and from Dreed. They all praised my performance. Very seldom gave any negative feedback. I then realised that I should have been more concerned that I was being promoted to officer so fast. As I'm typing this, there's something I should mention. This didn't involve me directly, but it was an interesting drama that happened at the same time as my drama. Before I joined the guild, my guild had decided to go hardcore. Hardcore. On Hellfire Citadel. On Black Rat Foundry. They wanted to be up to 20th on the server. It was Storm Rage. It's a big server. When I joined the guild, they had just invited a lovely female mage called Pine. Pine joined the guild, did mediocre DPS, and then started to make good friends with the best DPSers in the guild. She spent a lot of time with them in TeamSpeak, chatted with them, and seemingly formed a very close bond. On the second week of her trial, suddenly her DPS doubled in value. She started singling out just a few of the guild's DPS, aka the top 5 on the meters, each fight. The best geared players we had. That week on Thursday, we were going for Heroic Iron Maidens. We all joined the raid as normal, and during the first raid break, 5 of the top DPSs in our guild instantly left the guild, along with Pine. Pine was actually an undercover agent for a bigger guild on the server who was recruiting top DPSs. What? Who goes to that length? Unbelievable. We'll send in a spy. Fish him out. See what's going on, Pine. You're a lady. Pink-haired gnome. She has all the trademarks. She's totally James Bond as fuck. Cute little pink-haired gnome. No mustache. Double thumbs up. Goes in. Does average, you know. Makes some friends. Makes some friends. Makes some friends. And then boom, like that. I didn't even leave the computer during the break as most people did, and I witnessed the entire thing. I secretly smiled, waiting for the rest of the guild to come back from using the bathroom or whatever, to see that 5 of the top DPSs, including our new trial, had actually gone from the raid. I told them to look at the guild info, and they saw that the members had left. Out of all 6 of them who went back to their new guild, she was the one who ended up being benched because of her DPS, while the rest of her recruits enjoyed the guild and the progression. And there's the name of the guild on the server as well, but I'm not going to point it out. I'm not going to point it out to you. So she going moves on to recruit some others. So the guild obviously called the raid that night, no heroic Iron Maidens, and immediately started to fill the new vacancies we had. It was after this evening that one of the officers turned on me. Reinhelm. Reinhelm started to tell Dreed how terrible of a tank I was. How my positioning was awful. He went on every single raid about how the DPS of everyone else wasn't good enough. How he, being the top DPS on the damage meters, had authority on the subject of DPS. Right? Sometimes he would rank between 95th percentile and 99th. Yeah? And we all know how important that is. It's crucial. It's crucial. To get one thing straight here, to get these rankings, Reinhelm was a serious tunneler. He popped more bombs on our blackhand pulls than all of the melee combined during the first phase. He would whine every single week during Iron Maidens that we weren't stacking the mobs correctly because it would screw up his cleave. By the way, though, we had decided to do this on purpose just to piss him off. I'd take Sokka all the way across the platform, the longest diagonal I could possibly find. And then I told Reinhelm that when he learns to quit tunneling and do mechanics, I'll bring Sokka back for him. Needless to say, Mr. Reinhelm was a little bit pissed at this. A little bit pissed. The next morning, I logged into a message from Dreed telling me that the main tank Redman had quit WoW and I was now the main tank. Alright. It was here that Dreed was able to recruit an ex-vodka player, Sangster, along with several deeps to fill the slots during the culling of Iron Maidens. As a side note though, Sangster is really amazing, but he couldn't maintain vodka's schedule anymore. Sangster and I became good friends. We sat down once again and worked out what we'd do for Blackhand once we got there again. He'd already killed it with vodka and alt runs, so he was able to provide some changes to what me and Redman had decided. We both also kind of played alt warlocks, and we frequently have chats together. Oh, getting close. The day arrives. It's Wednesday. It's time for Blackhand Heroic. The raid leader went over the guild strategy, including the positioning and kite strategy that Sangster and I had decided. I don't know what the fuck Dreed was doing all this time, but it will become apparent that he didn't have a fucking clue. The ready check goes off. Dreed was not ready. A minute later, he replied that he was now ready to go after his AFK. We started the timer. Sangster had elected to pull. He pulls Blackhand into position for the kite around the outer ring. Suddenly, though, Dreed speaks up and says, "Keep moving! Stop standing still!" We had decided that we were going to move the boss when bombs dropped, and that was it. Dreed did not like this. He instantly complained about being forced to move for demolition. Needless to say, nobody had died, but Dreed called for a wipe anyway, and proceeded to tell the tanks that we have to kite him around non-stop in a forever perpetual spinning circle. We said that would be stupid and we'll actually walk back into bombs. It'll be a huge DPS loss. The casters won't be able to get behind things because the boss is always moving. And in fact, it's the dumbest fucking idea I've ever heard in my goddamn life. Sangster and I decided that we would actually just stop the boss near a woodpile for impale after the bombs drop, if possible. A lot of times those piles would spawn in perfect places because casters stand in shit positions. So we could do this, making it so easy. In fact, the range sometimes didn't even have to move. I call that good tanking. But Dreed said we were fucking stupid. Bells and whistles number 2 started going off in my head. It was here that I thought I better start looking for another guild. I knew after several arguments with Dreed during 2 weeks of heroic Blackhand pulls that my time in this guild was up. I confided in McFistthunder. We discovered in the past month we lived about 2 hours apart. We had more plans to meet up and have dinner even. Thumposaurus Rex took Dreed's side. Of course, they were fucking. And said that I needed to do what Dreed said. He, after all, was the GM. Side note to anyone listening, if you know with 100% certainty more about the fight than your raid leader and GM, leave the guild. Don't even think about it, just leave. It's good advice. The fallout. The next raid I spoke to Sangster, and we cornered Dreed in Mumble. We told him that we were uncomfortable with his Black Hand strat. Laid out why what he was saying was the dumbest fucking thing in the universe. And that as tanks, we needed the authority in raids to sort position. We respectfully, politely asked Dreed to look at any fucking video of the fight to realise how fucking stupid he was. Watch how many of the melee DPS were triggering bombs, even on the second phase. Dreed paused for a moment. And Dreed decided to tell me and Sangster that we were terrible fucking tanks. I've considered what you said with your logic and your videos and your evidence. Alright? I've taken all that on board. And the conclusion I have is that you two both suck. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. You two both suck. And that's the situation we're in right now. We complained, obviously, about Reinhelm and his attitude. But Dreed said that Reinhelm was an asset to the guild because of his mad DPS. The bells and whistles were going off full blast at this point. Within a week, I pulled McFist Thunder to the side and confided in her again. She asked me if it was okay to text Thumposaurus Rex. Oh my god. These babies. Babies, they're a nightmare. I think we may, just as a side note, in the middle of the story, we may have to move drama time to a different time going forward. There is not much ways I can do this with the baby not crying, which is a nightmare. So, bear that in mind. I will announce something on the side. So, our author's going to leave the guild. Okay. Our author's going to leave the guild. So she's talking to the other girly girls. And then one of the girlies texts the other girly girl, Thumposaurus Rex, who's fucking Dreed. She's fucking Dreed. To get involved. Can we get her in on the conversation? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I told Thumposaurus Rex that I wanted to get along with Reinhelm. I wanted to get along with Dreed. But the situation was incredibly toxic. She said she had heard the other day when I was speaking to Dreed and that she had literally, verbally kicked Dreed in the balls for giving Sangster and I such a hard time. I told her I appreciated that she had stood up for me and gotten him off our back. I said that I felt better and hopefully things will be good from now on, right? Everything's going to be fine from now on because the girls have hashed it out. The lads have been told it's all going to be fine. Abso-friggin-lutely. Tuesday, next week. Farm night. It's in full swing. We had started the gentleman's gambling with WoW Gold for a few weeks. It was a nice relaxing event after raids. We decided to take it to the raid break and have some fun. One of the members needed about 10 minutes of a break that night. Anyways, the stakes were getting high. We were doing 20,000 gold rolls. The way it worked with us is we had a mod. Everyone types 1 in the raid chat and the add-on picks this up as you're involved. Then everyone rolls. /roll X, where X is the amount of gold that we're gambling. The highest roll minus the lowest roll is the winnings. Paid to the winner by the lowest roll, of course. One of the rolls came up and I rolled over 19,000. The loser rolled below 500. It was a decent sum of swag cash. The loser, you ask? Reinhelm. Poor old Reinhelm. He gave me the gold and quickly logged off during the break. He came back after break and was pissed for the rest of the night. Dreed convinced him to come to his garrison where we all sat around a large table in the town hall and gambled for a few hours. After losing another 40,000 gold to me within that hour, Reinhelm logged off for the night. Slowly over the course of the next hour, the rest of the members left except myself and the new Priest. I told Dreed that I was also finished for the night. I logged off that night with 100,000 gold bonus. The next night I lost it all back to Dreed. I should have quit while I was ahead. Oh well. He gave me 15,000 back so I wouldn't be poor. It was nice of him. I used the gold to double it on the auction house. So we decided to gamble again. But with smaller rolls that weekend. Lots of guildies now started showing up to our casino night. It was fun. Reinhelm was sore as usual. And most of the officers kept losing their gold. As the night dwindled down, it was once again myself, the new Priest, Sangster, and Dreed. I told them I needed to go away. But I would leave the mod running. They thought I had gone to sleep. Sangster left. It was just the new Priest and Dreed. Well, I wasn't asleep. I was watching videos, preachers' videos, while they were talking on Mumble. At once they got up. They hopped on his motorcycle and he went for a ride. No, took her for a ride around Shadow Moon Valley. They thought I had gone, but I actually got on an alt and found them near the Temple of Karabor. I stealthed into the bushes because, why not? It was 1 a.m. and I was in the mood to see some sexiness. I watched and listened in Mumble as they sat there and talked for about half an hour or so about random things. I came to find out that she didn't know what Dreed looked like. So the next day, I whispered her and I said, "Hey, you should put your picture up on the forums. Did you know we have a thread where everybody's picture's up there? You should add yours." Of course, Dreed's picture was on there. And that pretty much put an end to that affair. Oh, you're ugly as fuck. Did you know you can see what he looks like? And the affair's over. You're ugly. Oh, God. Okay. Back up. Nope. There was a side effect to this, though. As she then saw a picture of Reinhelm. And then she started making very nice with Reinhelm. Back onto the story. Oh, Reinhelm, so she left. Let's just clarify this situation, boys. Just to inform you what happened here. Is the girl had a great time with the ugly guy, abandoned ship. However, Dickface, a little bit on the handsome side though. Shoots he scores. Right? Shoots he scores. 0 fucks given. 0 fucks given. Yeah? The following week, we continued our work on Blackhand Heroic yet again. And we finally downed him after 200 wipes on Blackhand Heroic. Wow. 200 wipes on Blackhand Heroic. That's fucking terrible. That's awful. That's a bad night. That's a bad night. What a horrid chain of events that finally led to our victory over the boss. We were to start Mythic Beastlord the next day. Sangster and I had worked at our jobs. I was to be the ad tank. I'm a DK. I can slap down, defile, blood boil. No issues from me. Sangster likes boss tanking. Ha ha, that lacerate though. Worked out perfectly. Yeah, because I could use pulverize. We're ready to go. The raid started. We explained the strat from our perspectives. And then Dreed stepped in. Objection! We were told that Wolfie was a bad boss to start on, and that we should in fact start on the Inferno Rylac. I've worked it out. The best strategy here is to start on the Rylac. Are you fucking kidding me? Where have you even got this information? I'd had enough. After the raid, that most of the guild logged off in despair, and I left a note in Thumpasaurus' mailbox explaining that I was done. I was leaving the guild. I don't even know where I'm going, but I'm certainly not staying here. I changed the name of my druid so that I couldn't be stalked. And while he was trying to figure out who this other person was, Thumpasaurus broke the news that I had left. Shortly, he kicked Sangster and 2 of my other friends out of the guild. I told them I was sorry, I never wanted that to happen, and that I'd spoken to him so many times to try and get through to him. They all knew and said they didn't give a shit. I told them I was sorry, and then started to move on. I found a 5 out of 10 mythic guild that wanted to replace their druid tank. I tried out for the position, passed my trial. Here is another awesome lesson for the viewers. This is what I saw in trade chat. 5 out of 10 mythic guild, trade chat, just saying. 5 out of 10 mythic guild looking for a tank. I was curious why their message was so vague. It was just these 5 or 6 words. And she said they were wanting to replace the tank smoothly and quickly so it didn't disrupt their flow of progression. I joined their guild after a trial run through Heroic, and the alarm bells started ringing again. They decided to kick the other tank without warning while he was offline. Douchey as fuck. Okay, you win. Kick. Fuck's sake, I can't catch a break. I should stop applying to guilds that are advertising in trade, seriously. I don't even care if it's freaking method. Don't apply to a guild if they spam in trade. It always leads to disaster. The better guilds that I've joined since do not advertise in trade. Anyways, as you're able to tell, I'm still a little bit hurt about what happened next. During my second week in the guild, my youngest child was teething. He was 6 months at the time. Nightmare. She was up all night, and I had to miss one raid. It was farm night. It's not really that big of a deal because we had several DPS with full tank sets that were fully capable of tanking farm content. They'd even done it before with the other tank. However, the guy who usually stepped up was a drug addict and frequently passed out during raids. Now, I'm not going to be the guy who tells you what to do. I'll suggest things, right? I'll suggest possibly things that you could do. But if your go-to tank, when your other tank's not there, is a drug addict who tends to pass out during raids, I would suggest possibly finding someone else. Just putting it out there. Anyways, I missed the raid. I let them know a day in advance that she was teething, and it's possible that I would miss the farm raid. We have 3 kids, and 2 of them still require a parent to go to bed. No big deal. Real life happens, and they said, no worries. The next day, I'm on my alt warrior that wasn't in the guild, and I saw her spamming in trade. 5 out of 10 mythic guild, looking for a tank. Oh, yeah, you're going to miss the raid tomorrow? Yeah, no worries. No worries. Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. We got all the guys in good tanks, no worries. So we're going to need a new tank then. My instant reaction was, what the fuck? She had no idea who this character was that I was on. And I whispered her, pretending to have a monk tank that I wanted to apply with. Her response was, yes. She said their new DK tank wasn't working out because of her family issues. I was irate. Yeah, join, no worries. I logged on my DK and questioned her about why she was doing this. There was a pause as she'd been rumble. And she then said that her husband, her fiance, who was the MT, it wasn't about me, right? It wasn't about me. She said it was because her fiance, the MT, might possibly, maybe, have some issues coming up that makes raids hard in a few weeks for him to attend, right? Because of work and stuff. However, oddly enough, by that raid night, his issues had magically worked themselves out, and he confirmed that he would definitely not have a problem raiding in the next few weeks. The next day, I logged into the game and noticed that there was a new DK and a healer in the guild. I logged off, and I didn't log back in until raid time. I fully expected to actually log in guildless. I gave her the escape way out because I didn't want to deal with any of the crap. She whispered me and told me that they didn't like my absenteeism from raiding and the fact that I went AFK one time for an extra few minutes. I asked the other raiders if it was a problem for them, and they didn't know what I was talking about. Lo and behold, not one person cared. It was just her. At least she helped me get into the next guild I joined, where I cleared bosses faster than they did. I joined another decent guild. They recruited me to replace their monk tank, who was a 20-year-old douchebag. He's a good tank, does his research, but was cocky as fuck and made lots of mistakes that only a tank would notice. He was so good at doing things fast because he was always correcting his mistakes. It turned out that every time he wanted to move the boss, he would use roll. Even if it was only a few steps. Gotta move, gotta go fast. I didn't realise it at the time, but I had been recruited to share the off-tank role with him. So there would be a main tank and 2 off-tanks. And she's been recruited to be the second off-tank. Right? That's the role we're filling. Everybody needs it. You've got to have 2 off-tanks. You've got to have those as permanent positions. Otherwise, you're doing it wrong. I told the office that I don't particularly want to share an off-tank responsibility with him, because I was just a better tank. I didn't miss cooldowns. I got along with the other tank, and she even put her 2 cents in over she would rather tank with me as well. The raiders wanted me. The main tank wanted me. But the officers loved this monk way too much. They thought he was funny. They said, well, he's young, and he needs to learn to not be so cocky, but he's a good tank. They didn't even know what mistakes he'd made because they had never tanked. The bells and whistles ringing again. They went to the logs and were able to eventually see what was going on. The dude was pressing taunt at funky times, not using cooldowns. The list goes on. So they pulled him into Mumble and gave him a telling off. Telling him that I was going to get his main spot for progression if he didn't straighten up. Well, 6.2 comes out. And our man has decided that he will become a druid tank instead of a monk. Amazing. He begged and pleaded with the officers to gear up his druid. 6.2 hits, and he has gotten himself to item level 650. He hadn't even bothered to go to Tanaan despite being online all day before the raid. The guild had decided we would really push Hellfire Citadel with our 650 tank. They started raiding as soon as the servers were up at 2 PM in the afternoon. We had to take a 2-hour break so they could take his druid through mythic 5-man dungeons for gear. Raid break, everyone. We're going to go and do mythic dungeons. Okay, that sounds like fun. And then we would pick the raid back up again at 8 PM. We cleared normal during the earlier raid and went into heroic that night. The warrior tank and myself were selected to be the first pair because of item level reasons. He had talked his way through whining and whinging and being so afraid of losing his spot that we should use a 3-tank strategy. He started taunting over me. He started taking the artillery debuff on the Reaver, dying over and over again. He refused to not be in tank spec, despite the fact we only needed 2 tanks. Eventually, me and the main tank decided to let him take the boss first, die, then we would just 2-tank the rest of the fight. Well, after pushing him through normals and gearing up his druid, they decided that he should become the new tank because druids are overpowered. They then whispered me saying, do I want to DPS? I swapped to Frost spec. Did my job, didn't complain. I seriously thought I had the MT spot in the bag. However, 2 weeks into Hellfire Citadel, they decided he should become the main tank with his druid. For progression bosses. They did tell me, however, that I would be the tank they called on for farm when the other tanks wanted a break. Thank you! Really? Really? I get to be the bench tank? Guys, that's so nice of you. Oh. Wow. How nice. Thanks, guys. Amazing. I love you guys. I was ranking so well. High percentiles of mitigation with that stupid fucking Breath of Syndragosa crap. It's nice, clean, fair rank for people. Where did he rank? Let's just say eventually his numbers were about equal to mine. So he's a good tank eventually. In conclusion, read your guilds. Really look at your guilds before you join. Ask them their intentions for you before you even apply. Check their logs. They'll tell you more about the skeletons in their closet than anything else will. I'm going to patiently wait for a guild that will give me the respect I deserve before I tank again. Thank you for reading the story. I hope you enjoyed the twists and turns. Sincerely, Sugar Tits. You think I'm lying? You're calling me shenanigans, are you? Sugar Tits. Alright. Thank you, Sugar Tits. Thank you. Thank you, Sugar Tits. Right, how long have we got left? Alright, let's speedrun. Let's speedrun one. We've got like 14 minutes. Alright. Let's speedrun once. Yeah. Sugar Tits forever. Sugar Tits forever. Love it. Love the Sugar Tits. Right. Okay. Story from Team Italy. I need a friend. Will be Namar. I think there's not many names, so it's just Namar. Okay. Bravo, Sugar Tits. And we hope you find a good guild. Hollowballs are brofist from Team fucking Italy. Yeah, there are Italian people in the community. I know that. There's loads of Italians in my community. Are you joking, dude? My Italian country bro map is completely full. So eat your lasagna. It's racist. And read through my awesome story of how I got into the World of Warcraft. The English will suck, as you know. Team Italy. Smiley face. In the order of introductions. Oh, here's the things. Hey, excellent. Okay, so I need a Fire Mage and a Warlock. Fire Mage and a Warlock. I need a blue and a perp. Ewalker. Nice. Ewalker, the Warlock. And our Fire Mage shall be... Who's blue? Diggs. Nice. Team Diggs. Okay. Chapter 1. The shitty gnome rogue friend, Namar. So here I am, in middle school, playing Final Fantasy X on my Chrome PS2 all day. Whoa. Sometimes waking up at 6:30 to play an hour before the school. There was a school friend, a total dickface, called Namar, who one day during a class talked to me about World of Warcraft. I kind of understood what he was talking about because I had been raised playing GDRs since I was 5, but was astonished by the incredible tales he was spinning me. He showed me an obsolete WoW guide from Vanilla with some pics of the game, and I was blown away. He pointed at a picture of a little human gnome with a mustache, and I proudly said, "Why do you have a character with a retarded mustache?" He bitch-slapped me and ranted about racial abilities and some other nonsense crap. I asked more than a few times if he could pass me the WoW discs, just for a day, so I could crack it on my Fire CD writer. Aww. Aww. CD writer, can I copy the discs, bro? Bro? Gnomes look humanoid. He didn't know the game. It's fine. It's fine to be a humanoid gnome. That's alright. But he wouldn't give me the discs and told me it was stupid of me to even ask for discs. I didn't get it. I insisted. He was done with my whining and decided to give me a copy of Warcraft 3, saying that this game was just like WoW. I played it, liked it, begged for more. He then agreed to also give me the Frozen Throne, but still would not give me his World of Warcraft copy. This game had to be so awesome, he was scared to even give me the discs for one day. And I thought that since he was so busy playing his goddamn gnome and being such a dick to me, I will keep his Warcraft 3 games. And I still have them to this day. Owned. Got your discs though, bro. Got your discs. I made some researches into the game magazines and then realised why he wouldn't give me the discs. I found out you needed a subscription and had to pay every month, and the discs were useless to me. It was a killer. My parents, old school Italian workers, would never comprehend the concept of paying for a game after you've bought the game. I was even sure that they had no credit cards at the time. I was devastated. I started to Google and find a way to play this game for free. You know where we're going, and we're going there. At the age of 10, I found out about free music, free porn, free movies, and free games. Everything was free on the internet if you tried hard enough. This, I told myself. And finally, I discovered the most awesome thing in the world. Private servers. I knew it. I knew it existed. A way for me to play this game without being shanked every month by Blizz. Like the least powerful spell of Final Fantasy. And so I went for it. I don't recall the name of this server, but it had access to Wrath of the Lich King content. So I started downloading the game. And after what looked like an age, I was in. The cinematic almost made me shit my pants. I could not wait to punch Arthas in the face. Of course, on this server you could choose to spawn as either a level 80 toon or to start from scratch with a massive XP multiplier. To use the free boost or to level myself. Let me think about that. So I spawned a level 80 Tauren warrior. Not like that gnome ballsack my friend had. And then proceeded to buy the best gear the NPCs would sell me. Which turned out to be the best gear in the game. I expected other players to see if we had the same health and other numbers. I was very upset though because some people had more HP than me. Gah! And I wanted to be the best tank in the world. Somehow I ended up in a 5-man party for Black Temple. I tanked Supremus. I felt like a god. This thing was so big, I couldn't even see his knees on my screen. My camera, in parentheses, my camera was practically first person. And every time he hit me, I never took any damage. Good tank, right? On this private server, yo. Bosses don't even hurt me, though. I hadn't read any of my abilities, but I carefully and methodically put a spell on every single one of the empty blocks on my action bar, because that's what people on YouTube did, and looked kind of pro to have all these buttons to press. Yeah? Do you know what you're doing? Of course I do, mate. All my buttons are full. Not a blank space in there, innit? Ah! Shit, son. After the intense 45-minute Supremus fight, I teleported to Ironforge. Ironforge was the server hub, where all endgame vendors were placed. I thought that the instance was over after Supremus, when in reality, I had been kicked from the group. Kicked on a private server, where you can't die. Wow! To be kicked on a private server, where you can't die. Guys from my party were shouting my name and mocking me for running through the forge. So I dueled them for revenge. Duel me though? Duel me though? Yeah? What are you shouting at me for? Duel me though? Duel me? I got wrecked every time, even by healers. Logged off and deleted my warrior. Oh, you calling me names though? You calling me duel me though? Fighting for it. Chapter 3 though, doing it right. I realised that I was, in fact, a noob, and that I was rightfully kicked for sucking balls. I would never tank again, but still play, and so I created, on the same server, a troll shaman, to level at the mad XP. Killing level 1 mobs was so easy compared to Supremus. Ah, yeah, that's right. This guy with his candle, Supremus, owned. It didn't last so long, though, and I enjoyed the starting zones and leveling. After a month, I hit level 20, and a Blelf mage called Diggs invited me to his guild. I was so proud. I started leveling jewel crafting and enchanting at the same time, and everyone in the guild used to send me gear to disenchant from their dungeon runs. This made me feel loved and appreciated by my guild mates. Diggs was a blast. We had the same age and got along really well. It got a bit too bromancy / gay, no homo, from time to time, but being gay wasn't really a thing to me, but I didn't care. So was it actually gay or what? I don't know. I got to level 30 somehow, and one day I was asked to join. a Scarlet Monastery run. Since they never saw a shaman, they were curious about the class. I had never been to a dungeon, but damn, I tanked fucking Supremus. A monastery with some old priests had to be easy compared to that. I was magically teleported to the instance. At first I thought they were trying to troll me, but no. This is at Black Temple. And I was surprised that this time I was not being summoned or brought magically to the dungeon. I started dropping totems, and DPSing, and occasionally healing my mates because the healer sucked balls. Everyone in the party was jelly bean 2 of me. It actually says that in the story, I'm serious. They were so jelly bean 2 of me, of my ability to both heal and DPS. Diggs whispered me, good job, every time, every trash bag. And this was the best feeling in the world to me. I really started caring for Diggs, and we talked about IRL stuff from time to time. Diggs was my best online friend. One guy, though. One guy. An undead warlock. Didn't like me at all. He called me a knob every time. Hated on me and always whispered me offensive stuff and then eventually ignored me to not receive my answers. He was an officer. One day, Diggs DC'd between a dungeon run and another, and I ended up becoming the party leader. E-Walker, the undead lock officer, told me to pass him the lead. But I wouldn't. I refused to be commanded by that prick. Diggs was the one who could lead me to victory, so I said we will wait for Diggs. After an hour through, we find a stand-in for Diggs. And then, E-Walker told me, well then, party leader, lead us to Scarlet Monastery. Fuck, I thought. I don't know where any instance entrance was. I was always being invited and I would be magically teleported by my friend. I was sweating it big time, looking for a way to solve this issue I had created. I put myself in charge. And now I was letting my friends down. After 10 minutes of waiting and not moving, I saw the usual from E-Walker. You're a knob. And he kicked me from the guild. I almost cried! I almost cried. I thought that the only master of the guild could kick you. So Diggs was behind all of this. He was jelly of my shaman being able to heal and DPS. And maybe he had discovered that I run the party as a leader and taken over his role while he was offline. I thought me and Diggs was friends. I was sad and mad and logged off and swore to never play WoW again. After a year or so, I randomly logged into my troll before uninstalling the client. I checked my in-game mail. There was lots of stuff for me to disenchant. And a letter from Diggs. Diggs said he missed me. That he hadn't kicked him, but E-Walker had. And then another message saying, just please whisper me for a re-invite. I will make you an officer. I've kicked E-Walker. And more mails similar to this. I was moved by the bro love of this dude, but it was too late. The guild was no more. Diggs hadn't logged in for 6 months. I deleted my beloved troll, never to play again until Mists of Pandaria. I now play live, and I wish to level a troll shaman someday, but who knows? Maybe I'll see a blood elf in the sunset of the Barrens making a fire rain from the sky, and we'll be bro again. Thanks for reading my story. I hope you have a nice, drama-free weekend. I didn't make you cry. Don't cry, guys. Don't cry. It's the weekend. Don't cry. Don't be sad. Maybe one day they'll be reunited. Maybe one day they'll be reunited. Maybe one day. That brings us to the end of Drama Friday for this week. There's no stream this week. No stream this week. Much to do. Much fun to be had. Family stuff. We're going swimming, walking the dog. Bed dog. Come here, buddy. Yeah. We're going to take you out tomorrow, aren't we? We're going on a big walk. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. So, everybody have a good weekend. There'll be videos up on the channel, of course. Ben, part of you is green. Creepy. Creepy. You're my boy, Blue. You're my boy. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Go on, get lost. All right. See you later, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.